get a Honda Civic and you put some T37s on it, a Mugen wing, and some strut tower braces, you can't call that a build. What did you build? You didn't build anything. You just swapped parts. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Put the voice on? Or are you going to do the normal voice?
Sweet jazz on Apple Podcast. Oh, I'm kidding.
Just keep it going. See how long you can.
See if you can do the whole podcast.
Just do the whole thing
like that. Okay. Welcome to another episode of Modify with Trick Factory Customs.
I love it. I love it. It's so great.
No, I can't continue
You can
that.
do it.
No.
Come on.
If this is your first time watching or listening, my name is Elvis.
Tim.
Rob.
And I can't do it.
You're doing
Oh
so
my
good,
God.
man.
Oh, if this is your first time watching, we are an automotive shop based here in Coquitlam, Canada, British Columbia. And we started this podcast to talk about modified cars. And on this episode, we are going to be looking at a philosophical question, I think.
That sounds deep.
Yeah, it's going to be what makes a car built? What
constitutes a build?
Yes.
There we go.
What constitutes a build? What is a car build? Because there are a lot of opinions about this. And I've been seeing some memes online when some say it's when you put tint, you get new wheels, and that's it.
Really?
So,
We're making that
I
up.
think those are the guys that get roasted.
so
Check out my build.
yeah, so I think we're going to be diving into that in this video or on this podcast. And so with that said, if you like it, give it a thumbs up if you're watching this as a video. If you're listening to it on any of the podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, give it a 5-star rating so we can move up the rating charts and so more people can be recommended our content. And with that said, we are going to get started. So how has the week been for you guys?
Horrible.
Actually, before we dive into the week, we missed an episode. So last week we didn't have an episode, and that's because
So we should be asking what you've been up to.
oh, me? Okay.
What have you been up this
Let
week and a
me
half?
tell you.
We know what you were up to. But what
Yeah.
were you up to last week?
So I had a child. I mean, not me, obviously, but
Don't say we.
no.
guys were not
My
pregnant.
wife, I know. We're pregnant. No, I'm not one of those.
She did all the work in this
I
one.
know.
Give her credit.
I honestly felt bad because I couldn't do anything. I was just standing there and be like, good job, push.
Yeah. Isn't that our role?
I know.
We're like the cheerleader.
I know, we're just there.
People
And so-
there to like just egg you
Yeah,
on. Like,
she
"Oh,
said
you
it
can do
helped.
it."
So, but anyway, yeah, I have a son now. I'll try to put a picture of it, but he's glorious. So
Yeah,
I have
he's
not slept.
He's a cute little dude.
Yeah, I haven't slept in the past week. So if I have bags on my eyes, don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
It'll be
So,
fine.
so
I'm gonna
that's how
get you
my
a
week has
T-shirt
been.
made that just says it's gonna be fine.
Yeah. So now you have a little homie, a little one to help you out with your build.
Oh yes, I'm so excited. All my body swaps and engine
Yeah,
swaps.
buddy.
Oh, I cannot wait.
Yeah.
So what have you guys been up to? Your week has not been good.
No, it was all right. I mean, I've been chasing parts. We've been making tons of progress on the Skylark, so that's been pretty awesome. A bunch of other stuff has come in, and then we have a bit of a catastrophe with a set of wheels that we're...
Do you want to share the catastrophe or?
Well, they just didn't turn out the way we wanted them to, so we had to strip them, but due to the quality of the products
It was too
that
good.
we used, it was too good. So it turned into a massive undertaking, so that set us back a couple of days. So
Ooh.
that's a mistake I'll never make again.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we just got through it, like, maybe 10 minutes ago. We delivered a car today, so it's getting a lot better
So
now.
some progress happening at least.
Yeah. There's some silver lining in that dark cloud.
Yeah.
So I met another cool fabricator guy that builds signs, and he wants to help us out. So
Oh.
everything seems to happen for a reason.
Very nice. Awesome. What about you, Rob?
Well, like Tim was kind of saying, we've been making big progress on the Skylark, and that's where I've been all week, or actually couple weeks. So since you've been gone, yeah, things have been progressing a lot on that end,
Awesome.
and we're making some big moves on that car now. And now we're finally getting a little bit beyond like some of the damage repair and some of the basic fundamental areas of the car where we got to build from, like the floor and everything like that. And we're getting into some of the more fun stuff now.
Nice. I
So
saw
we're getting to be a little bit more
hanging
creative
bells
now.
and whistles now.
Yeah.
So that's a lot cooler.
I got the iPad out and got the sketchbook program opened up. We're taking pictures. We're drawing up some things, and like a really fun project for me was putting the Ring Brothers mirrors on it. Tim and the client, they decided that they wanted to get these beautiful Ring Brothers mirrors, and we
They're kind of over the top.
they're so
amazing.
They're
nice.
amazing.
They're
Oh my
so
gosh.
There's a lot of stuff that we get here because obviously we get to play with a lot of high-end stuff, like expensive stuff, which you anticipate being nice, but these things are over the top.
Yeah.
They're worth everything.
So nice. I mean, they're expensive, but
They're expensive.
They're worth it.
They're worth it.
Yeah.
They're absolutely worth it. They like literally transform the car from sort of like your standard mundane regular muscle car to just like wow.
And you wouldn't think that a pair of mirrors could do it, but like when I came back and I saw them, I was like, "Ooh, that looks nice."
Shout out to Ring Brothers because they've
Yeah.
been great. Everything
Yes.
that I've hit them up for, they get it to us as fast as possible. So that's been pretty
awesome.
cool. Yeah, he's talking about how exciting it was to put the mirrors on, but how many hours?
So
did it
much
take?
work.
14 hours to put the mirrors
It took me
on.
14 hours.
Because you have to make a base for where it'll sit, right?
Yeah, I had to incorporate the whole mirror structure straight through into the inner structure of the door. I went a little bit extra on them. We made them super nice. I'm really, really happy with them.
Sweet. With that said, we're gonna dive right in.
Let's do it.
What is a car build?
Oh,
What is
this
a car
is very
build?
subjective, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stickers and a steering wheel cover.
Yeah, perfect.
Window tint. How about one of those steering wheel covers?
Yeah, those ones, yeah.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been wondering because, yes, again, to reiterate what I said before, I've seen a few memes in the past month, I'll say, of what exactly a car build is versus what it's not. And so we've all seen the pages or the Instagram pages of the little things people do. Tint being one of them, wheels, tires, maybe lower a little bit. Does that constitute a build?
No,
Okay, like
that's the customization. That's not a build.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, so before we started talking about this, I went online and I did a build, the word build by definition.
Ooh. Oh, wow. Coming to us
Alright,
with the
yeah.
Right? So this is where it gets kind of, it's kind of, a build is by definition when you change something by incorporating new parts or materials.
Okay.
I'd agree with that.
So if you put
window
new
tint
wheels,
technically
it's
means
a
you-
build.
It's a new material.
Yeah, but I think it has
So-
to. Like, I would take the definition one step further: is replacing one material with a different material.
Huh.
Yeah, always.
Oh,
yeah. I mean,
okay.
because that just makes sense, right?
Because a window tint is an addition.
So that's
it's not a replacement. You're
That's
not going
like
to use
putting
window
wheels
tint.
on.
Yeah, wheels.
Yeah. I mean,
So isn't that it's a tricky one, isn't it?
That is a very tricky one,
Yeah.
yes.
And I was like, oh, I don't like this definition.
that doesn't work for me. That's customizing.
yeah.
So to you, what is
Customizing,
the
personalization. That's kind of what that is.
So to you guys, what is the bare minimum to be able to call your car a build?
I like to think that it's like when you literally make something
Okay.
for that changes it in some way or another. So you're like made it.
Yeah.
Example.
Well, I would say it has to go beyond that. I'd say you have to take it to a certain point backwards and then bring it back from there better than what it was.
Oh, it has to be better than what
Has
it
to be
was.
better.
So for example, I take my engine out of my car and I just rebuild the engine.
You didn't change anything.
Oh.
So that's not a build. That's a repair.
That's a re and re.
That's a re and re, man. You didn't build anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would
Okay.
say in our industry, for me, my idea of a build would be like taking it to metal and then bringing it back up better than it was.
No way, really?
100%.
The whole car?
Yeah.
That's a bit extreme, I think.
Otherwise, you're just customizing your car, maybe modifying your car. But you're not building a car. What did you build? You didn't build anything. You just swapped parts. Until you start cutting, modifying, and replacing and creating something that's not necessarily either readily available or recognizable, then you've built something. There's not going to be another Skylark like this one in the whole world.
No.
So then you get a Honda Civic and you put some T37s on it, a Mugen wing, and some strut tower braces. You can't call that a build because I could go do the exact same thing.
Oh, I see.
That's my
Okay.
impression of what a build is.
That's okay. That's very
Like, what
good
did you
to
build?
know.
You didn't build anything.
True. So, but
I think you yourself personally has to have had made something or modified something to be able to call it a build.
so what about this one? I'm going to be asking all the questions. What about getting a car, wide body, put wide body fenders on it, maybe chop the old fenders a little bit, and wheels? Is that considered a build?
I would say it's entry level build.
And is it entry level based on the parts availability? So, for example, you buying the parts versus you making them yourself and putting them on the car, like making your own wide body.
That's building a car.
Okay.
That's my impression of a build.
Okay, I see.
But I mean, if you're going to do a wide body, you're going to start cutting fenders and doing all that kind of stuff. I would allow that as a definition as well.
I'd say that constitutes a build as well.
Okay.
Because, I mean, you're not just going to chop the fenders out and throw some over fenders on it. I mean, you have to build new inner fenders
If you're going to do it properly.
from you need to rebuild and remake from nothing, essentially, things to enable to even make that a finished product.
Yeah.
So I would say that I think doing a wide body with over fenders or something like that is a build.
Sweet.
Because there's so many levels to it. You can't just put a wide body on. You
True.
got to do wheels. You got to
Yeah.
do suspension. You got to do a whole
It's
bunch
a
of
whole
things.
thing,
So
yeah.
you can't just do one of those things. So you are having to build and create something. You can put 12-inch wide rims on the back of your car, but you can't just do that. You can't just do a wide body. It turns into a build.
Yeah.
And like on the wide body thing, that's probably the biggest misconception about it. Is like, yeah, I'm going to do a wide body. It's like, no, you're going to build a whole car.
Because you have to make everything literally work around that wide body.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'd say that would be the entry. Like obviously the stuff we're building it from nothing. So as a normal car enthusiast, I'd say building a wide body car would constitute a build.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
and like you said, I think that's kind of like entry level almost. That's kind of like the
Minimum
beginnings of it.
requirement.
Like if you're putting some sort of fender flares or something like that on there, and you're having to cut and weld and potentially repaint certain things, I think that's pretty, by definition in my book, that's a build.
And then what about like non-cosmetic stuff as well? Because sometimes some people might not want to modify the body of a car, but might want to improve stuff. So engine, I don't know, suspension, all of that, bushings.
I would say that if you're going to start doing stuff properly, and say you build 1,000 horsepower motor, then you got to build a trans and a better driveline, better suspension, and you got to start bolstering and gusseting and reinforcing things. That's a build.
Yeah, I would agree, too.
100%.
Okay. Sweet.
Whereas if you just slap 1,000 horsepower motor in it, it's like that's not really a build, because
Yeah.
it's not better. If you're going to call it a build, you should be trying to, at least to the best of your ability, make it better than what it was. Like how many hot rods have we encountered where they've done a ton of shit and then the thing's just a pile of shit to drive that board. Like you get in it and you're like, I don't want to drive this thing. This thing's terrible.
Yeah, I mean a big part of our core customer base is from that.
It's like we're
very
literally
thing.
fixing all that stuff.
Oh.
Like constantly.
Things that have already been done to the car that
Yeah,
don't
and we've
make
touched
it as
on it in
drivable.
previous podcasts where it's like they drive brand new Silverados, $105,000 truck, and then they want their car to be the same. So you're putting in the AC and you're putting in power steering and power brakes and all this kind of stuff. Then it turns into a decent car, but still not good. And then a lot of this stuff that you see these guys doing builds is like, they're not builds, they're just f***ing their cars up.
Literally making it worse.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think by definition they still are builds. They're just
They may not
shitty
be
builds.
good ones. They're just builds, yeah, but I think you got to get the saw out if you're going to be calling it a build.
Oh, you heard it here first. So
Otherwise, you're just customizing.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
personalizing. If you can buy it off the shelf and put it on, that's customizing.
yeah.
It's a pretty tough one. This topic
It is a very tough
It's a
topic.
tough one.
Yeah. Because I feel like there's a gray area.
I don't think so.
No?
No. If I can go buy what you bought, you're not building anything.
Oh, okay. So that's your like basic. If you can buy what I bought, then it's not a build.
Then it's not a build.
Interesting. Okay, that's
a pretty good way of looking at it. Really.
Yeah.
And I like that because I think we're all about like making things from nothing.
Yeah.
You know, like if
somebody's already done it,
regardless
what's the
of
point
your
in
skill
doing
set.
it?
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Okay.
It's like, I want a yellow version of your car. Doesn't make any sense to me. But I mean, you're going to take a lot more flack if you're doing a legitimate build because it hasn't been market tested.
Yeah.
It's like it's not already been accepted by the masses to do it. So that's kind of why people tend to go that way and don't want to do custom stuff. So when you do custom stuff, you open yourself up to criticism. Like, so look at my Porsche. Some people just like, oh my God, that's the most amazing thing in the world. Other guys are like, you just absolutely destroyed that car. So if you're going to do a build, you got to be ready to take the heat. But whereas if you want to buy some stuff off the shelf, you know already that it's tried and true. And we talk about it a million times. Like anything that's good quality of a decent price tag, everybody's going to have it. It's an obvious decision.
Yeah. That's true. And so
even sometimes even we got to follow suit with a lot of like, you know, with that and buy the same kind of products.
Oh, I
like
think
a lot of times.
We got to drop a story right now.
yeah, go.
About a chopper we built. I think it's time. I don't think it can come back to us. We built a chopper for a guy one time, and it was our very first chopper that we ever built. And then we took it to compete. And when we finished the bike, the guy actually came to the shop and wept. Like he cried because it was the nicest thing he'd ever seen in the world. Like
we'll have to drop some pictures in.
Yeah, literally, it's sitting right here. We ended up buying it back from him. So we took it to a major event, our very first major like international event. It got 6th place.
We got 6th place out of 14, and Tim and I were
okay. To give context, the bike that won cost $200,000 to build. Our bike with blood, sweat, tears, and $13,000, we got 6th place. So we were literally we were
excited.
over the moon.
Ecstatic,
That's
man.
so funny.
So when it got 6th place, he actually flew out to the event because it was on the other side of Canada, and then because it got 6th, completely lost interest in it. Didn't want anything to do with it. So
No way.
The situation progressed to a point where it's like, you know what? I went and got a line of credit. I was like, I'll just build you a new bike any way you want. We didn't have almost no input in it.
No, the whole point of it was like, we'll build you another bike. We'll buy
this back.
We'll buy back this. We'll take all the parts off of it that are just store-bought type parts, and those will get used in your new one. And you will basically, here's a catalog. Choose every single part that you want this bike to be made out of.
Oh wow.
So
we did that.
So he did.
Oh gosh.
We painted it the color he want. We got him every single part and piece that he want. And then it came down to this ugly ET headlight. Like it was the ugliest looking thing. I don't even know where.
ET like the alien?
It looked like it looked like ET's head.
Actually, if you picture ET's head, the shape of his head,
Oh my god.
kind of like a flattened infinity,
Yep.
symbol.
So he probably still doesn't even know this, but we took that frame and on the that particular headlight was on page 49 of the custom chrome catalog. So we stamped page 49 into the bottom of the frame.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And then we took the bike that we had bought back from him and we completely redid it the way that we wanted it to in our style. And then that bike stomped him for the next like 4 years.
How?
Yeah.
Because he couldn't beat it.
In every competition, because
Every competition. Our
you
bike
guys
beat
went to the same competition.
Oh, we took both bikes.
That's so funny.
this is like in our earlier years as Trick Factory Customs. Tim and I, we used to build a lot of custom choppers, and that's what we were known for forever. So we did, like you said, we did a lot of traveling. We did a lot of international competition stuff, and that was us sort of earning our way into it. Putting blood, sweat, and tears, putting our time in.
Yeah.
And so these bikes that we built, the one that we took back from this first customer, just decimated shows for years. And like, we've always been of the type of people where like we'll compete with whatever we've built for a single season, and then after that it's officially retired out of competition. We'll take it to shows for like display purposes only, but that's it.
Yeah.
But like every little show that we would go to, everybody would just walk past this page 49 biker
And they get
and just
nothing.
walk right over to ours and be like, oh.
Because it's from a catalog.
It's
And you can tell it's
parts.
from a catalog, but the problem is I call it putting it before the council. So like we have customers where it's like, oh, we think you should use this, and they're like, oh, okay, let me think about it. Then they got to go ask 9 of their friends, and they come back like, okay, let's get this one. You're like, of course you want that one. Everybody wants that one because it's cheap and it's decent. So now I won't really deal with customers like that because it's if you got to go check in with all your friends and spend 3 months on the internet to make a decision, your project's going to take forever. And it's of no interest to me anymore. Like if I'm just bolting stuff together, you can get anybody to bolt stuff together.
Yeah, very true.
We want to build crazy stuff.
So yeah, like those page 49 type things were like
Page 49. That's
in this time, like now, when you do come across great products that fit your needs and are of a good value, we'll never just bolt them straight on as is. We will always change it in some way or another.
Modify it,
That's
refinish
Modify it,
That's
refinish
awesome.
it, make it different than what everyone else
Yeah,
can
see,
have.
it's too bad that we don't have Brett here because Brett here was here in the early days, and I took like, again, back to the choppers day. I was like, I got some like highly coveted, extremely difficult parts to get from West Coast choppers. And as soon as they came in the door, I was just like,
cut it apart.
and then it took him years to get past the point where it's like, oh, I'll just cut that off.
Wow.
And he's just like, oh man.
Yeah, because if it costs so much, you're almost married to it. Like that's like instinct usually.
But that's what sets you apart from the rest is changing it, and that's why it looks so tailored and so fitted because you got to be ready to just, But people get so again married to like the finish, like, oh man, I don't want to mess up the anodizing. You're like, this machine ain't get it re-anodized. It'd be like $40. Like,
Yeah.
And then you got something crazy that looks like it belongs on your car.
Yeah.
But if it looks like you can take it off this car and put it on that car, that's no.
So
good.
I think like the long and short of all this is like that's the stuff right there that constituted being a build. Like if you can buy it, okay, cool, buy it. But then change it,
Modify it a little
modify
bit.
it. And then now all of a sudden now you're starting, okay, now we have a build going on.
Yeah.
Like you're having to like use creative expression and you're like having to, put your balls on the block and decide whether or not it's worth it, right?
Yeah. And then have you guys ever sold a build that you built for yourself?
No.
No.
I don't think we have. No, we've never sold any of our own personal projects.
No.
Wow.
No,
We have
actually.
everything.
Oh, wow.
We've had an opportunity to even buy stuff back from customers that we've built.
That's pretty
So
awesome.
like our very first car, the 56, when we actually built it for our previous boss when we worked in the fabrication shop. And then when he retired, we actually got opportunity to buy that car back from him, and we have it downstairs.
Is it the orange one?
The 56 Bel Air.
Yeah,
The
it's
two-door hot
it's
top.
like the red and white. The
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Bel Air, the
So
hard
that was
Oh,
the very
that's
first
cool.
car that we did as like a shop. That was what, 20 years ago?
It has to have been that long.
Wow.
It's been a long time. And so that one,
It's about to come back out.
Yeah. 'cause-
What are the plans for that one? Like, what does it currently have?
well,
Just give us some
obviously
specs
it's getting
on
an
it.
LS swap.
Ayy.
It has an LS. It had it like all polished.
It
very-
already has an LS.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, it didn't. It didn't. But
it
we were in the
previously had like
process
a
of it.
tune port motor in it.
Okay.
But they're junk. So we pulled that out. We put a 6-liter LS in it. Did a bunch of interior stuff. So now, hopefully, in the next coming weeks, we're gonna get Steve to wire it up, and hopefully, we'll get to drive it a little bit.
So that's going to be the summer car?
That's the ice cream machine.
Oh,
That's what I call it.
The
That's so
56
sick.
Chevy Bel Air is, I don't know, I'd have to say it's probably up there and probably some of the most iconic.
it is so iconic.
Most over, like widespread love.
yeah.
Everybody loves that car.
Everybody loves that. From like old timers that, actually built the car on the line to like young kids nowadays.
So
they
cool.
all
Like I've taken
love
out
that
like
car.
crazy stuff, and I'm sure Rob can attest to it. Is like you take out a Ferrari and you'll get like the odd this, but mostly
yeah.
you get this.
Yeah.
Whereas you take out the 56, everybody loves it. You have a
Yeah.
guy in an Aventador pull up like, yeah.
That's so cool.
So it's a pretty cool car. So I want to get
Yeah.
it back out on the road this year.
Awesome.
So the 56 Chevy, even that one constitutes a build because
frame off, right?
we
Everything.
took the body right
Wow.
off the frame and we X-braced the chassis, modified the chassis. We did a whole bunch of things. Like it's better than it ever was in the state that that it is now.
So would you ever sell any of the builds that you've done? Because you guys have done quite a bit of stuff. So like any of the personal builds that you've done, would you ever sell them?
Yeah.
I'm at a point in my life now where I easily say yes.
So which one would you sell for? Because you guys have a lot of them. So which one? Just give me one that you would sell. Like if you could sell one.
Well, I want to sell my chopper.
Oh. So if you're interested, hit us up at hello@trickfactory.com.
Yeah, it's West Coast Chopper CFL2. So
We'll put a
it's kind
picture of it
big
on the
deal.
screen. Yeah.
If you're interested.
And it's fully
Hit us up.
built. It's like
it's
custom everything.
Yeah, it's a lot of one-off.
Nice.
A lot of one-off stuff. It's a nice bike.
So what would you sell?
Probably my 454 truck.
Really?
Yep.
That's a dope truck
Oh.
too. And they're hot now too. Those
Yeah.
trucks are pretty sick.
It's got a Whipple on it, full red leather interior. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
One-off wheels.
One-off wheels, so that's probably, yeah, I love it, but I don't know. It's not one of those cars that I crave to drive.
So if you're interested,
OBS.
hit us up.
Yeah. You want it.
Yeah.
No, that's a sick truck. It's a sick truck, but it's just it's a different time. It was, we came from like truckers in our family and stuff like that. Trucks are always a big deal, and it was kind of something you always
Country
had to have.
music?
Like you had that.
No country music.
No
I had-
country
or,
music.
I had a little, square body short box on air.
C10?
Yeah.
Oh.
I had something
I
like
love
that.
C10.
We had to have
because
our
of
trucks.
Brett. Brett made me love C10.
They're sick, man. They're sick.
Yeah, they're solid trucks.
Yeah.
That was one of my first vehicles.
Well, and the 454 is kind of like the king of trucks.
Yeah.
Like honestly.
Because big block.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Big block with a Whipple. Yeah. That was the dream.
Yeah.
Dreams. When I had an opportunity to go get it, I went and got it. But that's a story in itself, that whole adventure. Holy.
Yeah, your main mentor fucking had one of those back in the day. Like,
Yeah.
I can still picture the story you'd always tell us about how he got all tromping on it, and it was like, man, that sounds so cool.
Yeah, but I didn't know. Now I got one. It makes 180 horsepower.
Yeah, but it also makes almost 500 foot-pounds of torque.
Well,
so
with the Whipple,
just
it's a lot
stump
better.
puller.
But yeah,
Factory didn't make a lot.
no, it was like 196 and 500 foot-pounds or something.
Yeah, the Whipple helps a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Whipple almost doubles the horsepower, which is still your average LS will kick the shit out of it.
Yeah, it was a different time.
Yeah.
What about you, Elvis?
Oh,
What's the build
me?
for you?
Oof.
How much has it changed since you've met us?
I feel like it's changed quite a bit. Because no, I don't.
You built some pretty crazy stuff, man. Before
Yeah,
you
but-
ever came here.
I don't really say it's crazy. It's just
I feel like we
interesting.
slowed you down. I feel like you did more before you met us, and then now it's like you're afraid to do anything.
Yeah, no, but because before I never really thought through anything. I'm just like, I see a post or I just think of something like, oh, I see a car on TV, like that looks cool. That sounds amazing.
It's kind
Buy
of
it
an
and
inside
build
joke
it.
here at Trick Factory now. It's like, what would Elvis do? He'd send it.
Just send it. Exactly. So I feel like I thought through. I didn't think through things like I do now, because let's see. I think my first build was probably, and I hated selling it, was my 1977 Toyota Celica GT. I love that car.
That's a sick car.
Oh, first gen Celica. It had the.
They're pretty cool.
Oh, it's like a Mustang but shrunken.
Yeah.
and it's like
that's the
so
one that got
nice.
away.
Yeah, I had
Yes.
a buddy in high school that had one.
I
of those.
want
It was
one
cool.
back so bad because when I sold it, then they like almost quadrupled in price. So I was like, son of a. So
Yeah.
that's one That's one car that I'm like. But with that one, I didn't really do too many things.
That's probably why it works so good.
Yeah, I didn't do. But it hadn't run in like maybe 20 years. Since like 1993 or something. And so I got it. I like rebuilt the car. But like what else? And changed the gas tank. Just little stuff. Changed pretty much. I think I put a higher like carburetor on it. But for the most part, it ran fine. It drove great.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then once I was and it was very rough. It was like cooked by the California sun. So I did my usual sand it down, just give it a rattle can paint job. It was glorious.
Nice.
But then I was moving, and so I had to sell. I had that car. I had my Datsun as well. So I did both of them at similar times. So my 280ZX, yeah. So cut it up. I always wanted wide body fenders, but I didn't want to. Initially I was too cheap, but then to buy like some proper fenders. But then I was like, why don't I just make some? I've always wanted to make some. So I didn't think too much. I maybe checked YouTube for how to do it, but they were terrible. They only showed me fiberglass. I was like, nah, I want to make this out of metal. So I just made a template, sent it, cut it up, welded, did the body work. So that was a lot of fun to do. And I feel like I learned a lot, but it's not perfect. It's terrible.
No, it's far from
oh
it.
my
But that
gosh.
definitely constitutes a build of it.
Yeah, did some 240SX shocks, like cut off the old shock, because they don't make a lot of stuff for the ZXs, or they didn't at the time I did my build.
I remember when you
So-
first started working here, and you came to work one day with that car, because you were kind of infamous. Your car was
We'd all
infamous.
seen it on Marketplace.
Oh
and
my
we're like,
gosh.
Right?
Man,
Yep.
does this
Because
guy cook?
the boys are on Marketplace all the time. They're like, you guys check this out, man.
Oh
I'm
my
I'm
gosh.
no.
Yep.
What is this? And then it just happened to be yours.
Oh my
So we're all
gosh.
like blown away, right? You pulled up and we all like just rushed out to this car. We gotta go take a look at this.
Like, oh man, what is this guy doing here?
But and we're looking at this thing and like this roof rack that you put on there. And
Oh, yeah,
the
that was
whole
fun
thing,
to
and I'm
do.
like looking at it, I'm like, is this exhaust tubing? Like actually, because
Yes.
it still has like the flange and everything.
O2 bungs on it.
What? It's pretty freaking it's
Oh, thank
inventive, man.
I just didn't want to
Kudos to
spend
you.
money. I was like, I'm on a budget. I was about to move. Like a lot of things were happening in my life at the time. So I was like, I'm going to be as resourceful as possible. And so I just
You did
started
that.
doing things, like went to San Francisco I lived in LA at the time, but I drove like 6 hours. It's not worth it. But at the time I was like, oh, it's $100 ski box. That would cost like $1,000. Drove to San Francisco and back. That gas probably cost me like almost
Much as buying this guy.
Most likely.
You know, and I was like, oh, it's
an
cheap.
adventure.
Yeah, but that like made a roof rack out of like what not tubing, like things from like Home Depot.
Yeah.
And like I just tried to do. I was like, oh, I see something in my head, and I'm like, I just want to make it with what I have. And so I had a 370Z before that. Took the exhaust pipes, put it on the back, made it like a mount for the ski box, and it was glorious. But it's still a death trap.
Yeah, we're gonna have to work on that a little bit. But like you literally jumped in with both feet, sink or swim kind of scenario, and you did it, man.
Yeah, but
Built
now
a car that you can drive. It's not great.
no, it's terrible. Oh, so bad.
But
Especially
like now that you're here, like we're helping you along the way. You're learning lots of things.
yeah. So hopefully this summer I'll get to do more stuff. Like I plan to do like a subframe swap to something more modern, and then. Yeah, I don't know, but I definitely repaint it, redo the bodywork again. So that would be a
Yeah, I remember you were talking about completely redoing the whole wide body.
because
And
it's not
so
good. It's not perfect.
you were playing around on Sketchbook for a little while.
Oh yeah, maybe I'll drop in a picture of what I imagined it to look like with Sketchbook involved.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a potential build, and then there's like some, but I don't know if I've never apart from the Celica, I've not sold any more builds. I sold my Jag, one of my Jags, the black 1973 with the LS, but it didn't have an LS at the time. But I sold it because I was moving from LA, coming here, and so I was like, I have to sell a lot of my cars. I sold it, but I ended up rebuying it again. So because I hated it, I hated selling it, and I was like, oh, but I couldn't buy the Celica because the guy loved it too much.
So is that's the one that
The black one that I still have, yeah.
that you have now?
You drug that thing all the way here.
Yes. At the back of my Genesis, I have done a lot of sketchy things.
Used your Hyundai Genesis.
Yep.
As a tow rig.
It has a V8. Come on, it can take it.
That
It's
blows my
fine.
mind just doing
How
that.
did Datsun
I'm like,
get here?
what?
Huh?
How did Datsun get here?
I drove it.
No way.
Yeah, I've driven
Oh,
that thing
shit.
cross country multiple times. The Datsun is as sketchy as
I
it
wouldn't
is.
drive that thing to the gas station.
As sketchy as it is actually reliable.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it
it's
is
a
not.
testament to the Nissan.
That's
Yeah.
Listen.
But yeah, I think that's it. I don't think I'm gonna sell any cars anytime soon because now I have like 6 or 7 of them. But it's fine. You guys
Stacking
have
them
way
up.
more than I do. So
We've been at it for a little while.
Yeah, We've been curating this collection for a long time.
Yeah, we've been collecting shiny bits for a long time.
Yeah. I just started not too long ago, but we'll see what happens this summer. LS Swap Jag, hopefully the white one, and we'll see where this goes. But yeah,
That car is going to be pretty cool, I think, man.
I'm excited.
Build,
Yeah.
big build.
Yeah. And so,
You know?
what are some of, let me just say, your top 3 favorite builds? I'm going to put you guys on the spot. Top 3 favorite builds.
We need that music. That
I know.
Jeopardy music.
So like one of my favorite builds so far goes back to when we were building choppers. We did the second season that we were officially competing in. We did this bike, and it was this orange bike, and it was heavily inspired by a Jesse James build, a West Coast chopper Diablo. It was a Diablo frame, and we built one completely from scratch, and we did not copy anything based off of, West Coast choppers, but we did our own thing, and we built this bike, and it was a fully chrome plated frame. It was absolutely monumental, the amount of work that we had to do to create it, and like it pushed us into like using CNC machining and things that to even be able to create some of the parts to make the frame.
Wow.
It was a pretty big deal, especially for us at that time, because we had a small little tiny shop, and we're industrial fabricators by trade.
And that
And
one
this was
like
something that was
straight up like hand built,
handmade
From the ground up,
like
everything.
hand formed sheet metal.
Wow.
Gas tank. The frame we
was-
built from scratch, and it was like we got a certain amount of, I don't know, fame from it, I guess. And then when people would come to the shop, because like, oh man, we got to check these guys out. They get there, they'd be disappointed. They're like,
Like,
where's,
wait,
where's,
where?
You did all that here.
where's all the
Yeah.
machines at? You're like, we don't have any.
So that's kind of, that particular bike is a highlight for me. That was a big deal bike. I'm still blown away when I think about it, like how we were able to create that.
Yeah, at that time.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
it was pretty
Yeah.
awesome. I reflect back on that because what was that? That was 2006.
Wow.
That was like sheer
and
will.
like it's been an eternity since then now, and I'm still thinking about that bike, thinking, man, that's crazy. We built
That's
that
awesome.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was pretty epic.
Yeah.
That's
So,
basically
that
the
was
one
one.
that jumped everything up.
Okay.
That was one.
Sweet.
Tim, what do you think? What's one? You got one.
Car stuff. Car.
You got
I don't know.
Got anything?
Not really.
Really?
I don't know. They're all kind of, I like them all.
I think the 56 Chevy Bel Air that we did back in the early days was a pretty cool car as well. It wasn't crazy by any stretch of
But
the
again,
imagination,
just
but
the way we did it and where we did it, it was pretty epic.
yeah.
Like those ones that are most memorable are like the all-nighters and like,
that was that time for us,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it was just me and you at that time, and
we were doing like 20-hour days. Like I think
worked 7 days a
when
week.
we finished that first
Wow.
show bike, it was like we had worked 3 days straight, no sleep, and then went home, showered, loaded the truck, and then
Yeah.
drove 52 hours to
Yeah.
do the show.
no, and like no joke. That's how it was.
But we
36
didn't even
hours.
have a way to get to the show. So I had to, in the interim, like the 3-4 days leading up to the show,
Yeah.
I had to go hit an auto auction and I bought a Pathfinder.
Yeah.
Just to be able to tow this little trailer.
Actually, though, so like, can
completely
you imagine?
untested.
Wow. You
No
didn't
big
even
deal.
check
Let's
anything.
just drive
You
across the country, roll the dice. Let's
Yeah.
see if this auction
borrowed
vehicle
the-
can handle it.
Wow.
We borrowed a 5x10 foot trailer. I bought a Pathfinder with like no AC, base model, manual, like
Manual Pathfinder. Wow.
yeah, summertime, and then we drove cross country 52 hours.
Was it to
Jumped
SEMA
in.
or?
No, to what was it called? Canadian Biker
Canadian
Build-Off.
biker build off.
But it was like a Rat's Hole show, so it was a pretty major event. But yeah, it was a pretty epic undertaking. And then we got the bike to the show. We didn't even get to fire it, but to take it into the show, we had to prove that it run.
Oh, okay.
So we didn't even get a chance. So we literally backed this thing out of the trailer. He's like, "Okay, make it run." And
Oh,
like,
gosh.
we're like,
Oh, gosh.
boop, 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 boop. Good enough. Get it inside.
really?
Yeah.
yeah, and actually, so a
That's
tangent
awesome.
story coming off of that, like, good thing it actually
Oh.
didn't fire up, because when we got back home, That's when let's get this thing to fire up.
Yeah.
It's time to actually complete this bike. But the thing would not go
No
for nothing, and we're
way.
like, what is going on? So we did a little bit of digging. Good thing Tim's fucking, pretty awesome mechanically. Found that we forgot the
No. We did not forget. We sent the motor out to be polished to a local shop to have it polished because they got to do the fins and all that type of stuff. And then when they had returned it to us, they had put a rag inside the intake manifold and put the carburetor back on.
No
So that when
way.
we tried to fire it, it literally fed that rag through the valves into the exhaust. But luckily, it didn't get enough momentum. It didn't cause any damage.
Oh
but
my
I pulled the spark plug out
gosh.
and I was like, what the hell?
There's a
was a
rag,
rag.
snaking its way through from the intake track across the
Yo.
intake valve into the combustion chamber, out the exhaust valve, and like it took, I don't even know, like a day
To get it out.
using picks,
to pull it
trying
out.
to
The
pull out.
pieces, what
And
the
then I
come
just got a big chunk and it just came out of the spark plug.
Oh my
And,
gosh.
and it was just like such an intense
And then
relief. You're just
pump it
like
2 times and it fired right to life.
like, actually,
so it was a miracle that it
was.
fired
It was
there a little
miracle.
bit.
It was a miracle.
Oh, that's so funny.
And that was the first bike that we
First
ever
bike
built.
we'd ever built.
And yeah, that was, back to the story of how that one was.
wow.
That one became our bike. That's
Yeah, we still
so you'll
have
have to put a picture of what that is.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, that's a cool one.
I think that's it. Anything else?
I don't think we actually really addressed all of the
No.
different stages of it, but
Well, yeah,
stickers,
any-
not a build.
Okay.
Window tint, not a build. Rims, not a build. Exhaust, not a build.
What about combination of all of them?
Nope. Even
What
if
if,
you put all that
you make
together.
your own exhaust from scratch?
Oh, okay.
Ooh, you're getting there.
It's on the
Making
borderline.
progress.
Yeah.
That I can appreciate, but yeah, maybe. That's like the entry level. That's like baby step.
Hmm.
At least you're doing something.
Oh, okay. I see.
See, I like that too.
Did you know? Here's another side story. Do you know what jumped off Trick Factory?
What?
Exhaust.
No way.
Yeah.
Custom exhaust.
100%. I went
Okay.
in. I had a Civic Si, and I went into a local shop. I can't remember what it's called now. It doesn't even matter. I don't think they're around anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in there and I looked at a stainless steel exhaust system on the wall, and I was like, "Oh man, that's sick. What does that cost?" And he's like, $2,500.
This is back then.
Back then, this is when I was like
Oh
20,
my
so like a
gosh.
long time ago. And I was like, "Holy shit, that's crazy!" And he's like, "Pfft, "You can always go build your own." So I did.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah,
Challenge
challenge
accepted.
accepted.
Wow.
And the
this
rest
is
is
happening.
history.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I still have that.
You still have that muffler.
I still have that muffler.
Wow.
You know,
It's
and
not
like,
good.
it actually sounded pretty
It
good.
sounded really good. Everybody else wanted one.
Oh,
It
wow.
sounded pretty
Okay.
good.
But it was not good. It's like the first thing I ever TIG welded. I built like a square muffler because I didn't know how to roll
square-
anything.
Well, no, wasn't the point of that so that we could get it to tuck
Get
up
it
a little
tuck
bit
up
more?
under, and then I made DTM tips, dual DTM tips,
Ooh,
because
yeah.
I've
Race
always been
car.
Because that
obsessed
was
with DTM.
obviously right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was
a
like the
thing.
first tubing I ever mitered.
Wow.
It was sick.
Yeah.
So that was in our early years at TriTech in the industrial fab shop that we worked at, and like even having a TIG welder available was like a really big deal, and it was like some NASA type thing. You're like, oh, there's a TIG welder, dude.
Yeah.
so funny.
Even at that standard, the thing was already 35 years old.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
Like you
Yeah.
had to touch the tungsten to get it to
Man.
start.
Oh,
I
gosh.
remember, and it always had like a tungsten on it that was like the size of my finger. It was like gigantic.
thick. Oh,
you know,
shoot.
you're like, wow. Like if I reflect back on that now, I'm like, dude, what the heck? That thing must have been good for like 1,000 amps.
Nobody there knew how to use
No,
it. I was
nobody
like
did.
literally the only person that knew how to use it.
Yeah. So that
so
was
funny.
like the beginning. Like
That was
Yeah.
very,
That-
the
very
genesis
was it.
of TFC.
yeah.
you know, and so like TFC, so that right there, and then another guy basically, calling us out. You could always build it on your own. You're like, well, or telling us, you can't do that, and I'm like, "Pfft, watch
us."
me.
Yeah.
It was not nice, but it worked.
It worked. Yeah. That's the
Yeah.
most
And
important
then we
part.
had a run of them. Like a bunch of people wanted
Yeah.
them. And we just kept making them.
Oh.
Then we made short shifters, and
Yeah.
like I just post a short shifter. Someone would buy one off buy and sell because you had to like call in and like put an ad on. So as soon as someone bought one, I'd take the one out of my car, and then when they brought me theirs, I would just modify theirs and put it back in my car.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, it was good times.
Wow.
There you go. So I mean, even doing that short shifter in like an EG hatch, if you build it on your own,
you go.
might be a build.
You got to start someplace.
Yeah.
That's the bait, like this jumping off point is just doing something.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, you had your weekly advice just handed to you.
There you go.
Yeah,
If you need
Just
more,
make
come back
something,
next week.
man.
exactly.
Use
Do
your
it.
hands and make it.
Yeah, you don't have. I didn't know how to make anything, but I was like, I just sent it.
You did.
Made something.
What would Elvis do? Send it.
Send it.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, we will see you guys next week. Thank you guys for watching this video. Listen to this podcast. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Bye.